strong of a team they are right now is what you're really leaning towards in terms of performance here. But Afreeca pivoted the draft big time. The Ezreal pick is kind of like, all right, well, we need a little bit more consistent damage output, a little bit more poke in fights.
Oh, this is cute.
And they're just going to try to abuse this Kalista early.
Oh my goodness. Is this going to work though, is the question. Is you've got Khan, he's doing the classic thing, right? You know, like looking for the shock blast.
Yeah, he's
a lot
trying
of the
to
pings come out, but the whole wraparound could happen here.
Trying to make it look super normal.
Yeah, you've got a bit of defense being played by Showmaker. As all right, let's see.
There's the start with the arrows. That's how you want to do this, but not going to actually commit.
Yep, they do tag Keen, so they knew that he was there, but unfortunately not going to invest too much more. They get the vision, that's going to be it. And Showmaker played a pretty good defense.
Yeah, if Keen makes a mistake there with Ashe, you die. Like, you have to flash, and if you are way too far out and you end up getting caught, like, you just die because the slows chain onto you. And it's nasty, but it's going to be fine. You can see the bonds being given there on the top side as well.
Yep, Canyon just letting everyone know that Trundle is most likely starting red buff, and he is indeed doing that. As this is going to be an interesting lane. I could imagine that the Ryze is going to be pretty okay, but it should be that Zoe will be able to push a little bit faster, a little bit sooner,
yes,
than the Ryze generally can.
As long as Fly doesn't make a big mistake here, he should be very free to be aggressive. As you can see, doesn't hit that pedal star sadly, but
a little bit unfortunate. Interesting that Showmaker hasn't actually played the Ryze yet, as he was one of our premier Ryze players when Ryze was in the meta last. So don't expect that this is going to be something that he's not extraordinarily comfortable on, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Dread going to go over here and take the blue away. At least that's the attempt. The idea is really nice. They see the Xin Zhao on red, know his pathing. So also Trundle really likes to take out solo target buffs. Yep, before he gets his AoE online.
We'll see whether they actually got the memo of that one happening as well, as you've got Fly roaming up. Going to get that ward down. But this could be huge. 3-buff start here for the Trundle, who's already going to do very well into the matchup against the Xin Zhao, right? Trundle is built to stop champions like Xin Zhao from having a good time.
He's amazing at just taking 1v1 fights against champions like Xin Zhao. Any sort of early, strong jungler that's going to look to duel, he just says no, takes away that attack damage, gets a slow, makes your life miserable. As Canyon's going to come over here and take the blue as a response, able to suss this out.
Yep. I thought that it was going to be pretty difficult to 3-buff Canyon. It's not something that many junglers have been able to do, as the Zoe has a slight advantage in this matchup, just based on the LCK as a whole. As Keen having a decent time here in this lane, but Khan managing to get that cannon creep very nicely. It's been a while.
Keen was the last one to do it. Beat Khan's Renekton. Well, I mean, not necessarily in lane, but they had the win.
They did indeed.
And it's a pretty good start. You know, we haven't talked about some of the other possible counters for Ryze. Really, Wukong has been, or rather not Ryze, Jace. The Wukong has been the favorite one right now. And, you know, this is a pretty interesting pivot for Afreeca's draft because it gives them a lot more consistent damage output later on. Gives you a decent matchup, especially early into the Jace.
Yep.
And
it's a way of taking away what Jace generally gets you just for free, right? You pick Jace and then you get lane priority. But as you can see, Keen's been able to gather a bit of that for himself.
Second Doran's Blade here with his cheater recall.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot more powerful, threaten Khan a lot. It's got great sustain here with his refillable pot.
You can see Khan going to choose to go home after taking a little bit too much Ren damage. Keen has always been very, very good at sneaking the pierces through, transferring all of that Rend possibility. As you saw a bit of a back come through for Ghost as well. He's got his Vampiric Scepter. Dread is probably going to see Canyon here as a bit of a wraparound is going to ensue.
Not until very late, sadly, though.
Keen going to dash on over. There's the flash forward from Canyon. Audacious Charge comes in. That's going to be the dive down. Pillar is there, and Keen's going to be able to jump around it. Khan taking a lot of damage here, as Dread's not going to be able to push too much further forward, but does do really, really well at stopping that gank.
Yeah, that was really well played. Really nice response here from Dread. The pillar's perfectly placed. Keen has to flash, but this is going to be a lot of lost minions.
This is a huge wave, actually. And so Keen not wanting to actually leave. Showmaker is in the area. Zoe's going to get pinged out. They know that Fly is around. But that is still That's a lot of minions that Keen has lost.
He loses, you know, a decent amount of them, but he actually stabilizes decently well. He's got a lot of sustain at the moment. And Dread's still here.
Yeah, Audacious Charge comes down. Wind does indeed become lightning as Canyon doesn't have flash, and the pillar is going to be good. But now Keen finds himself in a rough spot. Khan does not find the Shock Blast damage, but he's still going to be able to get first blood. Trades that one back because that Shock Blast didn't hit as Fly is going to have his Paddle Star blocked. Showmaker being just a fantastic mid laner, absorbing the damage for his jungler, and so there's not going to be too much more action.
Yeah, the teleport also kept the minion there, which is really nice because otherwise that dies and you actually have turret aggro on top of you in the extended trade. So that ended up being huge for him. And now he stays longer than Fly, gets more CS, finds himself up 11 CS, and is actually even going to hold this wave for Khan right now. So it's doing very well in terms of the farming. And this is kind of an awkward situation where now as Fly, you're like, oh god, can you hold my lane, Keen? Yeah. This is a little bit awkward. You're trying to maximize money across the map. And we do see a rotation over here towards this scuttle, but I don't think that at this stage Afreeca is in a good position to fight for this once Showmaker gets back in lane.
Yeah, they do manage to at least get the bottom scuttle. That is certainly good news for Dread, but not going to go for any Drakes or anything like that right now. Beryl back here in the bottom lane. As Ghost just having a good time. Two of the oldest AD carries in League of Legends laning up against one another. Very interesting.
Tutorial champion.
Indeed.
Okay, Beryl is going to show himself now. Fly, really nice. Gets the sleep.
Bubble will connect. Showmaker going to get lit on fire. Just some Zoe things happening here in the mid lane, but he's probably not going to be too worried about it. And as you can see, already has the Merc Treads complete. Let's have a look at this gank once again on the top side.
Keen flashes here after getting the rend off. Does kind of kite back, but it's really all about Dread hitting this pillar.
To the skies was actually interrupted.
Yep. Pillar's
My
perfect.
Goodness.
Keen super well played here. It survives longer. And then you see the, teleport coming through from Fly. Very, very early, comparatively. Yep. And
able to grab that kill.
Actually, Showmaker comes in a little bit faster. My bad on that. I thought Fly teleported in a lot sooner.
Not to be the case, but still worked out decently well for Damwon being able to grab the first blood and the extra gold onto Khan, and then also being able to have Showmaker there to make sure that that wave crashes, and therefore the lane state's going to be okay. Keen still will have a fair bit of power in this lane, and as you can see, Khan's actually missing out on a few of these creeps.
So,
because of Keen's power.
One of the things that, I want to hit on for Afreeca's comp is that, yeah, you pivoted and you got a, later game carry in the Ezreal, so you're going to have a lot of power later on, but you lost any semblance of top power in the late game in the same way. Yeah, you can engage with Keen on this Kalista, and that's certainly something that can win team fights for you, but hold that thought. Canyon.
Killer is actually down here as Dread throws out the Subjugate. Showmaker turns up, though, as Canyon could be in trouble. Still has the ulti, and he's just going to walk it out. It's going to be ult advantage now for the junglers on the side of Damwon, and that could be very valuable around this Rift Herald.
Yeah, hitting that root was pretty important. Dread actually had flash advantage. Canyons is just coming up right now, so that could have been really, really bad. Good save there from Showmakers. Massively ahead in CS now, going up to 20.
Yeah, this is starting to get a little bit ridiculous. The Rise hacks once again.
It's just what happens, especially when things don't go well for Fly. And yeah, I mean, the Kalista versus the Jace argument for what they're going to offer in team fights, I think the consistent Jace poke damage is going to be so annoying to deal with, and vision is going to be so important between these two teams when we do get to 25, 30 minutes in this game if we head there, which it does look like we are. It's a pretty low kill game right now. Yep. And that's where I am still worried about Afreeca's comp, because yes, you have the Ezreal, but they have an Ashe, they have a Rise, right? They have the Jace that's going to do so much damage. And once again, Damwon takes Rift Herald priority over Drake. And that's going to lead to gold advantage, possibly first turret like we keep seeing.
That's the Realm Warp, and that should just be a dead Keen underneath this turret. Yep, Khan is going to be able to grab that kill. Canyon gets the tribute and gets out of the turret range. And now they may even just invest the Rift Herald into this turret at the same time. This is a big snowball wolf.
First blood into first turret with the Rift Herald. You know the numbers advantage as Keen here should be on the top side of the map, but there's not much you can do. You leave the lane, you lose farm, you stay here, you get collapsed on and die. Trundle, unfortunately was down doing the bottom Drake. So yeah, what you get is a solo Cloud Drake, but the gold here is so much more valuable for Damwon, especially with this second charge here.
Yep.
It's pretty huge. As we'll watch this once again from a more zoomed out perspective. There's the Realm Warp, and Keen's like, oh no. Yeah. And not only did he stay to farm here, but he was very far down there and was, I think, trying to check and gets punished super hard.
Yep, just a little bit unfortunate. Not really playing to where we sort of knew Afreeca had an idea about, right? Because the reason they were taking the Drake was to trade it for the Rift Herald. Realm Warp is an ability that everyone knows about, so a little bit unfortunate there for Keen, but this is one of the situations, right, that you're sort of priced into as the top Kalista because you need to win lane. Yeah. That's why you pick the champion. Exactly. So you're a little bit predictable with your positioning, right? Still need to be trying to put the pressure onto Khan, who is now just going to be taking the Gromp and the blue buff. And Canyon's going to be like, where did my jungle go, mate?
It's like if you're a Kalista and you can't CS under turret while your enemy laner is gone, like, what are you doing? So it's like, in Keen's defense, you know,
yeah,
there isn't much else he could have been doing except just losing CS to be safe, which would have been the better play, but it's just a hard choice to make, you know? It's like sunk cost fallacy is, okay, here's a root.
Yeah, Fly could be in a bit of trouble here, but Wind Becomes Lightning does not actually connect. 200 health, 300 health for Fly as Khan moves on down, but isn't able to get in line for a Shock Blast, but this will create a whole lot of pressure in this mid lane.
I mean, he's 2 kills ahead. He has or 2 kills, he's 1 kill ahead, but he has the Eclipse now. That's pretty massive, unfortunately.
Hey, but Keen has a Vampiric Scepter Wolf. As Leo's getting soloed by Beryl here just a little bit. The Unbreakable goes up. Leona will turn back.
Just wanted to give a lot of space to Ghost, who, of course, does have his ultimate available.
Okay, Dread is going to face check Canyon here. I believe does have the pillar, or maybe he used it to check, as there's the Crescent Guard. Wind Becomes Lightning comes in. That's going to be a nice bubble connecting, as Beryl will get the flash out of Dread. Has to invest his own, but I like the aggression, as Fly tidies up the minions here in the mid lane. Getting Dread's flash definitely going to be valuable.
Yeah, that's pretty massive. That's one of the best things to have.
Oh no, there's the flash from Khan. Khan's a jungler, by the way, everyone. He's taking the blue buff on the top side. Now the red buff is going to go over to him as well. He's just having the best time.
I mean, this is something you have to consider when there's no turret on the top side of the map, is Jace is going to have a lot more freedom, and he's not going to want to be pushing the lane forward. He wants to catch the minions as best as he can. So it's even more difficult for Keen to farm. So you have a Trundle who's low health, and so he thinks, well, I'm going to take the red buff. If he's there, I kill him. If he's not there, I get a red buff. It's a win-win situation for Khan in this case. And in fact, he gets both.
Yeah.
As, you know, Dread took so much damage and had to flash.
And he stacks a whole wave for this, but they just know that that's where they're going to be.
Yep. He has the ward here, and it's easy cleanup.
I love that. He sacked his wave. It was crashing on that top turret. There's a lot of other top laners that definitely would not be there, right? But that buys so much more space for Damwon to continue this snowball moving forward. 3,000 gold now the lead, as we've got 30 seconds on these turret plates. And none to be collected on that top side, as we know, as that turret's already gone, but still 4 on the bottom side of the map for Ghost to potentially collect. As now Keen is going to get chunked out, and Khan is feeling a little bit like he's a bit too strong.
Showmaker now playing the Khan role of just clearing wards, being aggressive, choking Afreeca out of the map. I mean, we're not even 15 minutes into this game. Plates are just going to fall now. But Damwon Kia have so much control over this game that you have to wonder, Showmaker's going to take a ton of damage, but actually just face it down head on. You have to wonder what the power of this Zoe is going to be later on.
All right, Khan actually going to avoid the knock-up, but still needs to be careful. Pillar goes down. He doesn't have flash. He should just be dead here, but the boot back does come through as Khan's going to flash forward. Looks for Keen, who will get slowed down. Can the martial pose work? The answer's absolutely not, as teleport now will come in. Canyon looks to close the gap, as there's the Realm Warp. We'll get both of them in there. Bunch of minions there as well, and Dread is going to be dessert.
That's easy cleanup here for Damwon Kia. And what I was going to say before we got into this is, with this much map control at this stage going over to Damwon Kia, look at Jace's items already. We talked about earlier, he has the Eclipse. It's just going to be extremely greedy. He has tons of gold he's sitting on right now. And your Zoe doesn't even have her Mythic online, 0, 0, and 0. And she is not going to be able to do consistent poke if she doesn't have vision. And with the control of the map that Damwon Kia have already taken, getting that vision control is going to be extremely hard, if not impossible. So we already know who's winning the poke war here.
Yeah, I mean, this game, it looks like Damwon are playing with map hacks. They honestly have just been in exactly the right position throughout this entire game. And of course, Hawkshot basically is map hacks. Realm Warp is a whole lot of extra mobility around the map, but the way they're using it is really beautiful here, as we'll watch Khan with the sidestep, avoids the knockup from the Fate's Call, and then just not able to be slowed quite enough by that Pillar of Filth.
The Pillar's just not able to make sure that he's locked down where he can't actually walk past it. He gets slowed, but it's not enough to stop him, and then Canyon rotates over. You see the teleport into the Realm Warp, and Dread, his tombstone was already etched.
It was indeed.
Easy cleanup here, and Damwon Kia have such a massive lead right now. They don't have the Drake just yet, but I don't think they're too worried about it, as Afreeca are not even able to clear wards around Drake right now. They have no control of the map whatsoever.
Yeah, there's it's just really not a lot of good news stories here for Afreeca, as Khan, he's going to get at least some knowledge of the Leona.
Finishes his Muramana right away. He's like, I'm just going to buy this right out.
Oh, wow.
He's not even close to finishing it, actually. That's how ahead he is when he bought it.
Meanwhile, Ghost is just by himself wondering what the rest of his team's up to while he's just been alone throughout most of this game. But still being able to pick up a bunch of farm, winning out in that one, as Shirley is going to go over to Damwon Kia as well. And I just don't think they're going to relinquish control. Well, no. This is just macro dominance at the wazoo.
Yeah, and it all starts with Khan's control, the top side of the map, you know, and unfortunately, this Trundle pick hasn't been able to really do much. I mean, his pathing was great. We talked about it early on, trying to go for the triple buff early on to get a pretty massive lead and kind of control the tempo. I think a lot of that was going to be around the top and mid lanes where they want to pressure Showmaker, they want to pressure Khan, but it goes badly, and now Khan's massively ahead. You don't have map control, so the Zoe pick feels very weak.
Yeah.
And it's not because Fly has had a bad game, it's just because the rest of his team has fallen apart.
Yeah, and it's also like, this is an Afreeca comp that's built around mid-game chaos and taking control of the map around the mid-game in order to give your Ezreal and Zoe that space to really do their thing. And it's just, I don't think, going to be even possible this game because they've lost all control. As Beryl is going to miss absolutely everything, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Ghost gets chunked by Fly a little as Afreeca are going to rotate down. Canyon should be able to grab this one for himself as Lens is going to miss the flash, and Ghost gets a lot of value here. Drake is going to be taken. True Shot Barrage goes in basically the wrong direction.
And meanwhile, Showmaker is just like, I'm going to get this inner turret, by the way, while you guys are squabbling over the mid.
Yeah.
He's just pushing it down by himself.
And Fly also almost dies as Wind becomes Lightning comes out, but Canyon not going to dive into 3 or 4 people.
With Canyon here, this turret is going to go down. It's super easy cleanup, and Afreeca have to defend this mid turret. If they lose control of that, the Zoe value goes down to 0. So I think this was the correct play. But that's tons of gold going over to Damwon Kia. There's no great play. I think it was the worst of 2 options here for Afreeca was to defend this one where they already were stacked up. But that's just the power of good macro like you've been talking about this entire time. Showmaker just sees an opportunity, Realm Warps over, and that's a turret down.
It is. The arrow's available as well. Ghost could go fishing with that one if he'd like to underneath this turret. Just going to be throwing out the volleys as Dread not going to offer too much underneath this one, but Beryl will need to stand beside someone eventually, but decides instead just to put up the door. They throw out some skill shots, find some misses, but it doesn't really matter. 6,000 gold to lead here as we get towards 20 minutes into the game.
They've got so much clear too. Like as soon as they take this mid turret out, I mean, there's no other objectives on the map, but if they could just consistently push all 3 lanes, yeah. Like, if they consistently continue to push all 3 lanes, then they could do an early Baron, and there's just not much Afreeca could do to stop them. They have no vision. They don't have any real scaled-up champions. Like, nobody's come online. No one's hit power spikes.
Nope.
Zoe's got her Ludens, and that's about it. I mean, Trundle went for the Divine Sunder because he knows he's not doing any tank in this game. He's just desperate.
Well, we've got some ground down as in goes Canyon. Throws out the ultimate, but he's going down relatively low. In they go. Ghost finally in position now as Canyon's burning down. Flashes, but is not going to survive as Khan will finally turn up. Fly will be taken down here as Dread from over to the side, but now the damage comes in. Khan grabs the double kill, and now Dread finds himself on the wrong side of the map, and Damwon's wallets are already so heavy, Wolf.
It's just ridiculous. Dread's going to get slowed here. His pillar's coming up soon, but I don't think it's going to matter. It might delay the inevitable.
As it turns out, Ash pretty good at chasing people down if they're in range, and that is going to be the ace at 20 minutes on the dot.
Especially champions that don't really have great escapes, who are already very on the wrong side of the map, and it is just going to be straight to the Baron from this team fight. And Canyon takes one for the team. He's over here clearing vision, and he comes in, gets a knock-up, and he knows his team's going to be there for him. You can see a picture-in-picture. The Baron is being taken uncontested. True Shot Barrage here only doing a little bit of damage really to Barrel, and then Khan shows up and he's like, this fight is over, by the way. You're not allowed to be here. Showmaker doing tons of damage. It's just, like you said, the wallets are too heavy, and enough time is bought. Canyon dies, but the rest of the team succeed, and I believe they got the Baron yet. You could see it there on the picture-in-picture. Easy cleanup on that one because Afreeca cannot even contest.
And it's a 10,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. This is, it's getting very close to insurmountable territory, and I think with the way that Afreeca have been playing, I don't think that there is much hope for them getting back into this game, or maybe even the series, after what a display like this can do.
Remember, in round one, when these two teams played against each other, it was the first time Damwon did the role swaps, and they crushed Afreeca then. It was the most dominant win, actually, with the role swaps. And they're back to full form right now. They've just had so many dominant games back-to-back.
They have Baron, and they just used a Rift Herald.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. It just really shows how accelerated this team is right now. Shock Blast can't really be tanked by anyone. Khan has the most damage dealt in the game. Showmaker not far behind him. And even Ghost, after that last team fight, really starting to get up there.
You could see that Showmaker is well and truly over 10 CS per minute. That was shown on the graph there for just a moment. He has the most in the game right now.
Definitely doing some Xiaohu things, one could say.
And for Afreeca Freecs, you know, you're really, all the conversations you could have had about, well, Ezreal's going to come on later, they just don't really get to happen anymore in this game. As even Wit's End taken here for Ghost, so he's a little bit safer against this Zoe pick. So he's not going to get blown up, even if he does get caught by a trouble bubble. He should be able to survive it.
Oh, Canyon just getting right underneath this turret, as they are going to look to take this one down before Canyon dies to it, and that is going to be the base broken. On the bottom side, Showmaker has spent a lot of time alone this game, as Canyon goes down to about 300 and is going to look for a reset here. The 1-2-2 split coming down for Damwon Kia.
So one of those games for Ghost, too, where he's not really the carry, but he does everything he needs to. He's exactly where he needs to be at the right time.
Yeah.
He's farming extremely well. He's just playing a passive game. And this is the Ghost that we all talked about being the
This is the world's
killer.
winning Ghost.
Exactly.
This is the Ghost that helped them win worlds. The Ghost that we've been seeing before is the one that, you know, struggled to survive in lane and things like that. This role player that is able to do exactly what it says on the tin, and that's precisely what Damwon needs.
And
Too many
Ash,
chefs in the kitchen can make things a bit too hectic.
Ash is definitely a great champion for him, you know. It allows this playstyle, empowers it really well when your team's this far ahead. I mean, Ghost is just going to do everything right. His decision-making has always been fantastic. It's sometimes these micro-decisions that, you know, end up causing him problems. But when he's just playing a great game, rotating correctly, laning without pressure, or without barrel diving in and him having to catch that, he's looking great. And this is the Damwon Kia we were hoping to see at the beginning of the season. It's taken a while, but the dominance is really hitting hard here at the last part of summer.
Yeah, and look, they had a bit of a week off last week. They had one match. It was up against DRX. If you remember back, they lost to T1. Game 2 went for 47 minutes. Their series against DRX took less time than that.
Yes, it was
the entire series.
We saw a little bit of everything in that one.
We did indeed, but just shows that Damwon Kia sort of coming back with a vengeance and hopefully utilizing their time off effectively. And as we can see in this game, it looks to be the case.
I really don't think there weren't too many obvious choices to put into the top lane for Afreeca Freecs with this Jace matchup. You know, like Gwen would have had a terrible time, right? Would have offered a little bit more, I think, at this stage of the game than the Callista, but I really like the pivot to put the Ezreal, and I thought it was a pretty smart move. It's just unfortunately the execution has not been great.
Yeah, also, you know, Fly playing the Zoe has just not really found too much success recently, as well as Canyon. Gonna go down relatively low. Let's see whether Damwon Kia can pull this one back, as they were all stacked up. The arrow connects onto 4 people, but the Fate's Call is good. Finally, Khan comes in, and now the damage is starting to rain down. Ghost full of spears right now, but should be able to kite back relatively effectively, and that was actually a one fight for Afreeca.
Yeah, Afreeca do win this fight. Khan shows up to the party a little bit late. Khan's been very fashionably late to a lot of these engages where everybody's a little bit worried and there's like, oh, now it's a party as the shock blast comes through and Khan starts doing massive damage. But even with the win here in that fight for Afreeca, they're just so desperately playing cleanup. Their turrets for their Nexus, the Nexus turrets are under pressure here. The bot inhibitor has been down for a while. Super minions causing a bit of a mess here for Afreeca. And now, like, there's no real opportunity. Even if the Drake was up, Afreeca would be hard-pressed to group up and take it because of that bot pressure, but it's not even up. Baron's not even up. There's no way to take this win into a turnaround for Afreeca. It's just a small win where you go, oh, that was nice, but you're going to have to do that again, and then again, and then again, if you ever really want to be able to take objectives away from Damwon Kia.
Yeah, now teleport back from Showmaker. Khan had already teleported top lane. It's just going to be that pressure reapplied, and it's still, of course, that 10,000 gold lead. Now the setup around the Baron will ensue. Pretty textbook stuff here right now for Damwon Kia, just wanting to finish this game off. As Fly with some bubbles is going to be frustrating, but, I mean, just does not really have any items whatsoever.
Yeah, and, I mean, Jin Zhao and Trundle both kind of at the same spot. Oh, there's the damage.
Shock Blast for a third of the health bars of both Dread and Lehens.
Do you like
Barrage does not connect there onto the bubbled target, which is a little bit unfortunate. Can't going to survive with a lot of health. It's now
Canyon.
Yeah, in a lot of trouble. Crescent Guard comes out. Great Pillar is going to be there. They do manage to lay down the CC as a lot of time was bought there by Canyon, but I don't think there's going to be any follow-up here as another bubble will connect, but Khan is able to get out of it in time. And now Damwon Kia are going to have to play a lot of defense around this Baron. Thankfully, still a lot of super creeps making a ruckus on the bottom side of the map.
That's really going to be the problem. Khan also pushing top right now. Afreeca don't have enough vision around the Baron to really make a decisive call either way. You see that Fly is sent back. They're now going to see that Damwon Kia are not doing Baron for sure, but Khan's still going to push. He's got a lot of poke power here when he's flanking like this. I was going to say earlier before we did see that pick, is like you like when Khan shows up to the party late, but when he's hosting the party, it's a real banger, you know?
Yeah, it is.
We saw at the beginning of that fight just how much damage he can do to the carries of Afreeca if they do get caught on a flank angle. And so it's really important that Dread is there or that Lehens is there every time they want to start a fight. But third item now up for Leo. I'm not trying to say this is winnable for Afreeca because I really don't think it is, but if Damwon Kia and crew make a few more mistakes, then maybe Afreeca could claw their way back into a 45-minute game.
No, true. I mean, it's of course, it's not over until the Nexus goes down. However, it feels like a very difficult task for Afreeca as this Baron is going down extraordinarily quickly. Lehens does get the bad news as Dread puts down the pillar. You can see Ghost and Beryl in a bit of trouble here as the Baron is going to be traded for the support. There is a lot of poke damage, though, as in goes Canyon once again. They're trying to get Afreeca in position as they've lost one. So it is a 4 versus 5 that Afreeca do not want to take up against this Baroned up Damwon.
The bottom inhibitor is still down for 30, so with this Baron buff, they can continue to push even without Beryl. He did exactly what he needed to do, was just block them from getting the Baron, pulling a little bit of a Snorlax right now, and just making sure they can't get in there, as we're going to see Canyon.
Yeah, I think they certainly had the poker flute because they were able to take him down.
Yeah, he's just sitting there like, sorry, can't clear without that item.
Yeah, but unfortunately they were in battle with the Snorlax, so couldn't get to the Rayquaza that was coming up afterwards.
Should have pulled a Sudowoodo instead, I guess.
Yeah, they did it better in Gen 2, everyone knows. As Afreeca now just trying to defend, and they will be able to at least keep their mid inhibitor alive, and their bot one has just respawned as well, as you alluded to. Looks like it's just going to be Soul Point taken as a bit of a consolation prize here for Damwon. They will be able to lock that one down.
Yeah, Damwon just playing this very safe, and that does give, again, opportunities for Zoe to finish her Horizon focus as she does now. And, you know, the Ezreal is going to start to do more and more damage in these team fights.
All right, Beryl underneath this turret. He's a little bit alone right now, though, as Khan throws out a Shock Blast, but only finds Lehens with it. Bit of extra damage there, but Afreeca are just going to back away.
And this is... It starts to feel eerily as this game goes longer that one more mistake could make this game winnable for Afreeca. So Damwon Kia, I think, are feeling that as well. They're not being as decisive with their engages. The inhibitor in bottom is now up. As watch Beryl just sit here with the door up saying, no, nobody is going to contest this Baron. I'm going to give my life for it. He does back away towards Ghost. Ghost actually not getting too much value with this arrow at that close range, but Damwon Kia know they have the damage output to win this fight. It's just that they lost Barrel. They could have pushed, can't find anything there, get the soul point, and it's just like small wins for Damwon Kia, smaller than you would expect with an 11,000 gold lead.
Certainly is, but they're able to get everything that they really want to around the map. They just haven't been able to really get the end working out for them. So if you are an Afreeca fan, you're looking at Leo's items as they continue to ramp up. There is a possibility that he might be able to just win a team fight by himself. But I think if Damwon Kia do eventually group up, they should be able to find a win, as that Shock Blast somehow narrowly avoided here by Afreeca.
Fly can't do a whole lot with these minions here. Baron buff actually being pretty massive against him. Like, he has to clear these before he can actually chip away at anyone, and this gives Showmaker free push in the mid, towards a mid inhibitor.
Siege working out very, very well here for Damwon. Even Ash with the volleys able to help out there. Lehen's down to half health.
Showmaker just going to rotate over to bot.
Yeah. If the mid lane doesn't work, you may as well just get down here and sort this one out, as the rest of the 4 of Damwon will just eliminate this turret in a couple of seconds. Barrel looking for Dread here. It is just going to be buying space to grab this inhibitor. Canyon actually ulting to avoid the damage from Leo, but Leo completely out of mana. So isn't going to be able to continue a fight forward as Khan. Possibly difficult positioning and does have to flash the Solar Flare. As Afreeca do lose their top inhib, but otherwise hold on.
Yeah, they hold on, and it was really desperate actually for them, with Showmaker threatening 2 inhibitors by himself, and Afreeca still were able to clear the top wave, slow that down enough. Yes, they still lost their inhibitor, but it was not an opportunity for Damwon Kia to easily just rotate over and finish the work that Showmaker started. Showmaker has tons of money. I think he's going to get a death cap next. He's at 343 CS in this game.
He looks at the wolves and they die.
Yeah, he's level 18. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than this. But, you know, until the Nexus falls, Afreeca still have a lot of power here. The Ocean Soul is going to be massive against Fly if he ever is able to land any of that poke, because it will just be regen back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I think Damwon Kia are now looking to use that top pressure and the damage that's already been done here in mid and bot with the waves they have pushed to try to do more permanent damage.
Yep, 3-2 push. As, okay, that is a bubble connecting onto Showmaker, who's in so much trouble, will just be taken down. Didn't have a stopwatch, didn't have anything, and now Damwon Kia are going to have to back away again.
Yeah, this is starting to become almost comical in how Damwon Kia just unfortunately cannot stick the landing here.
Yeah, it's starting to get to be a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
It's 9 towers to 0.
You know, like,
remember,
the Showmaker here is just very greedy, ends up getting slept, and yeah, he flashes to try to buffer, but unfortunately with all the burst damage here and the great Trundle Pillar, Barrel can't save him. Nobody could stop that from that Rise from dying. Starts to be a little bit like the you know, gymnastics, where you have great start, amazing flips, difficulty, the 5 stars that shows up on the screen, but the landing is a little bit weird, and Damwon Kia pops up and they still smile, but you're a little bit suspicious about how this game is looking right now.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, we don't know enough about the gymnastics to understand whether a mistake was really made at that point in time. As Fly is going to get chunked. And yes, Damwon Kia, like, they struggle a little bit with, like, hard engage, but they do have an Ash Arrow, right? They've got Barrel there to just dive forward, find himself his Glacial Fissure. So they certainly have options, as now Khan looking for that flanking Shock Blast. 40 seconds on the Drake and 20 on the Baron.
Lehen's in a really nice spot to block a lot of those Shock Blasts coming through from Khan. See if he can hit this one.
Oh, yeah. Lehen's might have to be sent back home.
He's blocked one too many.
Yeah. There's now Dread off to the side. Fly was backing as the arrow's going to connect onto the Trundle. Wind becomes lightning, comes in. It's a fantastic stun from Barrel. And then Khan, he's going to rotate around. Lehen's not going to be escaping this one. He's going to get stunned as well, as Ghost is there to finish that one off. And now Afreeca are just falling like dominoes. Leo trying to get back to the base, but that is 1,000 damage to his head from Showmaker. And now he's going to start working on the Nexus turrets. He is done with this game, and I think Afreeca are going to have to vacate it as well. It's a 13,000 gold lead. It has been for the majority of this game, but finally, Damwon Kia are going to finish.
All it takes is one blow up on the Trundle, and that's unfortunately Lehen's just not nearby to peel because he took so much damage right before from those Shock Blasts. The Showmaker is going to bring the minions into the fountain, and it was really just one last moment to pick